Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. Yeah, we only have 50 states for now. Will we have Canada? Will we have Greenland soon? So I'll say the United States of America, just south of our 51st state, Canada, where Justin Trudeau has resigned. Ha ha ha. This is the TNAM Night Show. Yeah, it's nighttime. It's not technically the next morning, although I could envision starting a show at midnight 05, perhaps. But this is the TNAM Night Show. Thanks for joining us. Different format, totally different vibe. Same cast of characters talking about the same bullshit in the news. Blake, you're changing your format back there. You went from Wally World to what is this?
I went to the real Wally World, but it's really hard to see because it's all right behind me. But yeah, welcome to Wally World.
Here, let's full screen this. Let's really get a good look. Get out of the way, Blake. Get up.
Well, I gotta get my official shirt for America's greatest amusement park.
Other than Cedar Point, of course.
Right.
Which you've been to Cedar Point. You can appreciate Cedar Point.
I can't.
Jane Meyer, what's up? We're up. You're up. And there's Wally World on the screen. That's up. Jane Meyer joining us. See, we don't know who our late night audience is, bro.
Oh, yeah.
We have no idea if Ken's going to be here. Is
Right.
Ken going to show up?
Everyone get a good peek at my hernia belt again? That's good.
Oh, wow. That's why you're looking so svelte.
Yeah. In my sweatpants, little late show. Good times.
I wonder, now,
Hello, Jane. Yes.
is Jocelyn available this late hour? Maybe we could send her a message.
Well, listen, I didn't even know there was a show until 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I just kind of we've been having the conversation about doing. I was saying maybe we should shoot Jocelyn a message. Go, hey, we're live now at a totally random time.
Right.
Okay, I'll do that. But here, let's do this. Let's go ahead and I don't know. Jane is saying it's past her bedtime.
Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah, we're just trying out some different things. It's a possibility, some potential schedule changes or time changes, just to see how it goes. This is not probably wouldn't start this late normally, but maybe whenever it's convenient. Really working around whatever schedule we need to. But I'm glad you got the alert, and thanks for joining us. But you don't have to stay up for us. But yeah, stick around if you want, and glad to have you.
What do you say? I was showing people I'm going to take my Ohio State Buckeyes hat off because of the shadow, but I'm going to have to expose my Lego hair. I have Lego guy hair.
Nice.
This is a hair helmet if I've ever seen it, dude. I'm happy I still have hair, but look, but is this something to be happy of? I'm like a Lego guy. Or maybe an emo guy if I really get it in there. Jane, this is fun, but I woke up at 5 a.m. So, all right, Jane, deuces. Check us out tomorrow. Check us out. When you wake up at 5, check out the show. Yes, and we'll go over the interesting stuff that happened during the day. Blake, let's do something totally different. We never do this. Switching gears. Here, how can I go full screen? Let's just kind of play what we shared on the New American Media on our Instagram feed. Make sure you're following us. The New American Media. All right, Blake, I'm going to play some clips and you're going to give me some comments.
Okay. I'm going to play some background music because it's ooh.
Is this like trip hop?
I believe so. Oh, no, it's just lounge.
Lounge. Okay. Lounge hop.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, Jane is so sweet. She loves us guys. We love you too. All right, let's go to Instagram. Follow the New American Media on Instagram. Well, this is where
we're starting, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to show what you're missing out if you're not following the New American Media on Instagram. We share so many great stories there each day, and they disappear. But all you need to do is follow us, and you're going to have a really good idea of what's going on in the world. So let's just play some of these, and I'll get some Blake feedback. Here we go. Where's the volume? Where's the volume? Oh, hold on. Here's the volume.
She had disappeared for 6 months, and it turned out she was in a nursing home because she has maybe dementia.
And I think that's a huge, huge problem.
Young people have seen this country run by an older and older and older generation. And what have we experienced? We've experienced a housing crisis where it's difficult whenever you're graduating high school or graduating college to find affordable housing. We've seen our jobs being taken away from illegal aliens who are coming in, wages depressed because of our open borders. We've seen Democrats wanting to tax working class Americans to pay for welfare benefits for illegal aliens. We've seen the Democrat Party embrace censorship, side with Hamas terrorists over Israeli citizens. I mean, young people have seen the Democrat Party drive this country off of a cliff, and that's why they're moving faster and faster and faster to the Republican Party. You just had a Texas congresswoman that I don't need to tell you. Man. She had disappeared for 6 months, and it turned out she was like in a nursing home because she has maybe.
So Blake, I mean, kind of a referendum on the Democrats, huh? Young people aren't having it. And today, Trump wins, the election was certified. It's a big deal.
It certainly could be if it trends that way, and it should. I think the Democratic Party is just toxic, and people are trying to get away from it. So whether that drives to Trump's Republican Party, that's actually not a bad thing. I mean, people need to keep open-minded. I think everybody should try to be independent to some degree, but at least it's also Trump's MAGA rather than school neocon Republicans. So that's different. Until something else emerges, I mean, if the Democrats can somehow come up with a reinvention of themselves and get rid of all the wing nuts, they might have a chance going ahead in the future too. So let Trump do his 4 years, and then we'll decide from there.
Right. I just don't know who they have on their bench. I really don't know who they can turn to.
But that's assuming they could go into another populist type of direction. So they lose Bernie because he'd be way too old, but then they're going to distance themselves from the radicals. And then all of the dinosaurs, the Pelosi's and the Schumers, will be ready to be out. So they're going to have some fresh people, fresh ideas, perspectives, something that could compete with MAGA. So, but that's not gonna happen overnight. That's probably gonna develop over the next couple of years. I mean, Bernie. I mean, who knows? In 2016, it seemed like Hillary had it. It was easy. They were just gonna coronate her, and then just over the summer, all of a sudden, Bernie comes out of nowhere. It's just like, well, someone's got to challenge her, and he became a phenomenon, and he got even more popular than she was.
Well, the thing is, Blake, it doesn't matter who the messenger is. They've rejected this Obama doctrine of divisive racial politics, all the woke stuff. People are not having it anymore. They can try to rebrand that awful, terrible, divisive, destructive message, but nobody would want to be a part of that. So, I mean, they're going to have to change their platform or cheat their ass off, but they're never going to win on that type of stuff again. And I think that's very telling. Let me see if I can click back here. Good, here we go. Let's talk about this, and this is all going to be in no particular order. We're just going to play them as they show up. Like, talk about this here. Nancy Mace, she's her along with Laura Loomer, and I think it was Laura Loomer, and Laura Logan for sure, maybe Laura Loomer. Definitely Laura Logan. Victims of sexual abuse. And Nancy Mace here, she's out here talking about the 158 Democrats that voted against deporting all illegal immigrants who committed sex crimes. This is the party they expect people to vote for. Like, who in the world are these 158 people that are going to choose to vote against immediately deporting any illegal alien who committed a sex crime? I mean, that's a party you can't rebrand. You have to shatter whoever's protecting these abusers.
Exactly. There should be like a power vacuum, and all of these people should be like, oh, we're fucked. We're never going to get reelected. And that should open up all kinds of opportunity for other people. A sort of a new moderate left, or maybe classic liberal. I think that is absolutely plausible. Now,
we're talking about new directions, fresh new faces, but look what just happened. I don't know what's next in the stack here, and we'll go to the next one, and maybe we'll be redundant, but as these stories conflate and can converge, let's bring them up. We saw Joe Biden, former Vice President Biden, giving out a presidential medal of freedom or valor, a Joe Biden award.
Whatever Rush Limbaugh got, I think, right? So it was a freedom honor. I mean, it was just Presidential Medal of Freedom, I think.
And look who got it. George Soros and Hillary Clinton. What's the connection? Huma Abedin. So you want to talk about who's the face of the future of the party? Well, it looks like Soros and Clinton have nudged Obama out of the way because all his divisive racial bullshit has been thoroughly rejected. And we'll get to Trudeau in a moment, but it seems like the same old, stale, corrupt power players of Soros and Clinton meet your new boss, same as the old boss, right?
Yeah, in fact, I actually just saw a picture of that. Which I will share now. There he is. He's George Soros and Joe Biden. So it's nice of him to show up and to grab that. So it's good.
That was
the whole empire. Yes, can see that.
By the way, this is Open Lines. I have pinned the link to join the show if you have a take on anything going on in the world. It's Open Line Monday. What's the Monday night game tonight? Was there a game tonight?
No, this is like the life after football again. But there's going to be still, the playoffs. There's still
playoffs.
State is playing, I think, Thursday or Friday, and then Penn State, Notre Dame Thursday, and then there's 2 NFL on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, and then that's pretty much it. There's just going to be down to the final 8 teams, I think, after that week. And football season is almost over.
And that is one of the topics I had for tonight, just to talk about it. I mean, you're a Vikings fan. You guys got absolutely shellacked in that game yesterday. How disappointing was that? Ugh.
Yeah, it sucks to have to sit there and there's nothing you can really do about it.
It's like, hey, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play, hernia and all. Like, let me help.
Right. Well, I don't know if you heard this, Brian, but I smashed my TV in front of 30 guests at a party because of that game. And my wife took our crying kids and spent the week at a motel. The team ruined my life and my party. I couldn't handle it anymore, Brian. So I had to say goodbye to the Vikings. I'm no longer a fan.
Like, we've all been there. I pass no judgment. I have acted. Look, and I don't say this with pride. I don't say this happily. But let's be honest, there is masculinity, and then there is toxic masculinity. There's competition, and then there's an unhealthy relationship with competition. And at least for me, by the way, I already figured out what our TNAM Late Show is going to be. It's going to be way more philosophical. But I think, at least for me, the concept of competition has become, it's been an ever-evolving central theme in my life. Whether it's siblings, whether it's close families, pseudo family, friends, different groups that I'm in, different projects that I'm working on, sports, tennis, football, basketball, like in a lot of areas, I've had to re-examine all of my relationships with competition. And as a fan, there's nothing I can do, but I am certain I have acted in ways that might embarrass the current version of me. If I could watch it on, I think when we die, we're going to watch the DVR of the highlights and lowlights of our lives.
Oh, I believe that. I'm terrified of that. Yeah.
Then we're going to judge ourselves and go, do we need to come back and try to do better than this? And I think we're going to be the ones that are going to be our own harshest critics. Or some version of that. I don't know. Any thoughts on the afterlife or competition?
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies, Defending Your Life, with Albert Brooks. When that's exactly what they do is they die, then they have their lives reviewed, but they have like different like lawyers that look at it, sort of a corporate.
Oh, I don't know that I've ever seen that one.
Oh, dude, you have to break that down.
What's it called? Defending Your Life?
Defending Your Life. It's with Albert Brooks. That's Mel Brooks' brother.
Okay.
Super talented guy, but yeah, very very funny, very clever movie, very thoughtful. So with Meryl Streep, that's
Wow.
It's an excellent movie. Highly recommended. That's right up your alley. Yeah, you want to. I'm going to hold you to this, Brian. We got to find out where it's at, where it's streaming, and get it to you. Because that would be a very philosophical way of looking at it. But yeah, I also just. Not quite exactly like that. Like that's kind of a funny way of looking at it, making a movie out of it. But yeah, I think that's probably what would happen at some point. Well, what about somebody else would?
Right. Yeah, and that's the concept of God judges you, or maybe we're our own worst critics. Or maybe we make a recommendation to God, who makes the ultimate decision, or something. But some version of we're going to have to look at these things and go, can I not watch any of this? I'm so embarrassed.
Look, we were stumbling through our evolution. We only use a fraction of our brains and a fraction of our DNA.
What about competition, Blake? Did you ever have any?
Right, on the fringes of the galaxy.
On the Science album, Brandon Boyd. Well, I'll get that quote. Any thoughts on the competition, healthy competition as a fan, times that you might be embarrassed about how you acted? You put that Vikings thing up about a guy losing his shit. I've seen that every year. Like, it gets repeated. It's not really a thing, but I'm sure it has been a million times too many. Maybe alcohol was involved. I mean, you and I have been bartenders, but anything you've seen as a bartender, anything you've witnessed or participated in that was a highlight, or like the best cheering moment and the worst cheering moment, or when it went off the rails?
There's so many. I was fortunate enough to work in Las Vegas for a long time, and I worked at New York, MGM Grand. But I would say specifically MGM Grand, like they had like this huge sports book. And so when there were like big games playing and everybody would be excited, or they all had good boxing fights that were in-house, the Grand Garden Arena. I got a front row seat to a lot of that. Or sometimes even just during the horse race, people get all excited. But it's always those big swings of momentum when you're in the sports book and you've got, 1,000 people in there, and everyone's got like different money on like the Monday night game. Whatever, if it was Detroit and Minnesota or what have you, and just every time, especially if it's a close game and it's going back and forth and people have money on the game and they're drinking, it can be quite the atmosphere. There's nothing quite like it. So I don't want to say specific memories. I hope but there's a lot of stuff. I've worked Super Bowls, and I've seen people at their worst, at their best. Alcohol can be an unpredictable drug. We'll leave it at that. So
exactly. Yeah. Well, look, Blake and I are former bartenders, so not everybody has. We've all been to establishments, but how many of us have been behind the bar, and how many thousands of hours do we have behind the bar? God, that'd be such an interesting question. What is that, Malcolm?
16 years. Well, I mean, just even if I roughly took like 15 years times 40 hours a week, not that I worked full time all the time, but yeah, I could probably find a way to calculate it. But I've spent 15 years of my life in casinos, which is great. It's a pretty awesome experience, but I wouldn't want to do it forever.
What are you sipping on, boy?
I'm actually just drinking, these are electrolytes. So instead of buying Gatorades, like the bottles, you just buy the powders, and then I make it like half strength, mix it up with water. So I just kind of like my electrolytes. So no booze.
By the way,
I did vape some 8 though, so I'm not entirely sober. What about you, Brian?
a little bit of sparkling water and some vodka.
There you go.
And some vodka. By the way, throughout his book, Malcolm Gladwell repeatedly refers to the 10,000-hour rule, asserting that the key to achieving true expertise in any skill is simply a matter of practicing,
albeit in the correct way, for at least 10,000 hours. Have you ever heard that?
I think I've heard something similar from Bruce Lee. Like
Okay.
I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 moves. Fear the man that's practiced the move 10,000.
One move 10,000 times.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
No, that's a pretty good one. By the way, I was referencing the Incubus album Science, and the lyrics from that are, in the middle, over a guitar solo, there's something that says, you were saying how we're stumbling through our existence, Blake? And that reminds me of
yeah.
this. This says, until the 20th century, reality was everything that humans could touch, smell, see, and hear. Since the initial publication of the chart of electromagnetic spectrum, humans have learned that what they can touch, smell, see, and hear is less than 1/1,000,000th of reality. Have you ever heard the Incubus Science album?
No, but I've heard they have some pretty profound lyrics. I'd have to sit down and look at them. So usually I don't notice that. Like I've known some Incubus songs that I thought were good, but I don't really know what they're saying, or I've really never kind of thought about it that way. The lyrics are always secondary to me, but I would be curious. So, but
Yeah, I highly recommend the Incubus Science album. Right after that part, it says,
all right.
fallacious cognitions spewed from televisions do mold our decisions. So stop and take a look and you'll see what I see now. It's all been saved with the exception for the right parts. But when will we be new skin? It's all been seen with the exception for what could be. But when will we be new skin? And it's about dead skin will atrophy itself to start again. Really awesome music, really awesome band. Check that one out. Okay, let's go back to the Instagram feed and we'll just kind of go through what's in the news. This is a clip about George Soros. Look, it's our good old buddy, George. Whoop, where'd the clip go?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Science
That you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe as a child you don't see the connection, but it created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No.
My understanding is that.
So this is the Presidential Medal of Freedom guy, Blake, George Soros. I mean, it's been argued that there's no person that's been more destructive on this planet than George Soros, with all of this forced migration to just dump countries into every other country to totally change the Obama doctrine. This is what Soros has been working on with his open society and all these things for decades. Biden gives him a Lifetime Achievement Award. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's insane. He has no business being that. It should not happen here, especially in America. He's caused a ton of devastation here. Some creepy Hungarian billionaire who made his money, shorting, I think it was Bank of Great Britain.
Yeah, the man that broke the Bank of England. He shorted it and destroyed their currency, and he's a nation destroyer.
Yeah, so he's using all of his money to fund radical activism and these awful prosecutors and sheriffs in America. This guy is not somebody who would celebrate our country in any way, but hey, he's got so much money that they'll take it. So it's taking the devil, like selling your soul.
Yeah, well, America has been standing in the way of the grand plan on the global chessboard.
Chessboard, yeah, it's Brzezinski. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Zbigniew Brzezinski, and then his daughter Mika. Look, she's one of the puppets on the propaganda network, along with Morning Joe. Let's talk about this story here. I don't want to get into the specifics because if you go down the rabbit hole, it's going to hurt your brain and it's going to hurt your soul. But this is going on and on right now about abuse happening in Great Britain. Have you seen this story? Like now Elon is on top of this one with Starmer.
Yeah.
Really trying to overthrow Great Britain that's been overthrown for this Obama doctrine of dumping Pakistan into Great Britain and saying, look, everybody's the same. And there's like these gangs of people that are raping white women, and it's turning into this massive problem. And it has been a problem, and people have been covering it up for political gain for a long time. I've been scrolling the past couple of days, and it's everywhere. And these stories get worse and worse the more that you read them, to the point where I really want to try to avoid some of the specifics, because it'll really damage the part of your soul that, you know, has hope. It's bad. And I can't believe it's not in there, Blake.
No, I know what you mean. It started kind of building up last week, it seemed like. I was thinking about putting it into our Thursday show, and then I didn't know enough about it. I was still trying to dig in, didn't quite know. But, you know, they're showing, you know, Tommy Robinson, political prisoner, and he's been blowing the whistle on all of this. It's horrifying. Right now, Elon has really magnified this for everybody, and now nobody can. We all have to face it. That's good. This is a conversation that we all need to have. That we're allowing so much of these migrants from totally different cultures, and they can get away with things, and they're not reporting on, and they've managed to bury a lot of these atrocities for a number of years, like 20 years. I don't know. It's going back a long time. And it's bringing this issue up. So and if you report on it, like Tommy, if you say anything about it, they go after the people talking about it.
Yep. I'm done. I am done playing that game. We're going to talk about every story just like we're supposed to, because we're adults and we're journalists, and we've been at this for 13 years, and nobody's going to tell me that I can and can't open my mouth about obvious atrocities. Unholy hoax. What up? It is brother, right? I was going to say, what up, brother? I think it's brother, right? A night show. Wonderful. Yes. Thanks for joining us. We're just unpacking right now, going through the Instagram feed for the New American Media. So question of the day, Unholy Hoax, and anybody else, are you following the New American Media on Instagram? By the way, Dana White has joined the board of directors for Instagram. That just happened today, and he said he's never been more excited to join a board of directors in his life. Zuckerberg has gone all Brazilian jiu-jitsu and kind of like pseudo Rogan and kind of MAGA light. What do you make of this? This is breaking. I just kind of saw that. I think I shared that on X. I don't have it in the Instagram feed, I don't think. But what do you say about that?
I'm trying to be open to the idea that maybe, you know, Zuckerberg's trying to redeem himself. Maybe he's not, you know, the evil guy we may have thought he was. And he certainly was the front man for a lot of problems that were on social media, especially, you know, being infiltrated by the feds and censoring information,
silencing us and destroying our opportunity for building a career.
Yes, that too. So maybe, is a part that he's human, and he likes MAGA. We should all like embrace America. I mean, it's what made him successful, is that whole American dream.
Exactly.
So,
but we'll keep our eyes peeled on it. You know, Dana White's been doing some good stuff. Let's address this here, Blake. This was in the news today. Coming up, I'm going to play a clip or two of Kamala getting to certify the election results. It's four-dimensional chess. They said, Mr. Mike Pence, you need to kick those electors back to the states. And so they made a big to-do about it. You can't do that. In fact, we're going to pass a law so the vice president can't hold this stuff up. Perfect. That's four-dimensional chess. We got you. We hooked you. So Kamala had no tricks up her sleeve. And she appeared to be mostly sober today, by the way. But for some people, this is a sobering day. 4 years ago, Blake, you and I were covering this for the New American Media, January 6, 2022. Can you believe 21? Can you believe that was 4 years ago, first off? Does it feel 4 years ago?
Gosh.
4 years.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that was wild. Yeah, I guess it's only 4 years. Does it seem like it's been a long time?
That's 1/10 of
or was
4
it just
decades.
a couple of years? It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I guess it has been. Despite how awful these 4 years have been. So it's been terrifying. It was just like there's this really weird energy in the United States. Like we were in so much danger. Like just this country, the future, the direction, the confusion, and then that whole trap of J6 and just not knowing what the hell. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to some of that real quick. Let me say this just to mention here. This is a picture of Ashley Babbitt. She was an Air Force veteran who served our country for 12 plus years and won awards for her service in Iraq. Ashley Babbitt was 5'2". She weighed 115 pounds. She was unarmed. Lieutenant Michael Byrd shot her in the neck for the crime of trespassing, despite the fact that armed cops were right behind her. 4 years later, 0 consequences, Blake. Thoughts on that?
I believe her family has filed a wrongful death suit, and that just happened like 2 days ago. I'm going to have to look at that. But yeah, I think they're suing for like $30 million. So hopefully, I mean, that's not going to bring her back, but I mean, that's at least it's something, and they can got to fix that narrative. There's a lot of narratives that need to be changed after January 6th, or of that January 6th. Of course, we happened to be there. It was God, what a wild day that was.
Indeed, a wild day. I was trying to share this one with you.
Just a weird. Remember, just walking back to the hotel at the end of the day. After that long day and it's cold and we're just, we're trying to record stuff. And it was just such a historical but not for the reasons that we thought it would be. It was just, and we had no idea what was even going on anywhere. There was just kind of a communication blackout to some extent.
I remember we were there.
Yeah.
We were trying to live stream, but the feeds kept going down. We're trying to get updates on Twitter, trying to get updates on YouTube and Facebook. Nothing was loading. And we're here. People have radios in the crowd. And it started working its way through the crowd. He said, someone just got shot. They just killed someone. You're like, what? What happened? Huh? What happened? Then it was your job to just pass it along. Hey, someone just got shot and killed. You're like, what? Like, it was kind of like hot potato. Here, we're going to give you this information. Now you need to tell other people that are seeking information. Yeah, no communications that day. And remember, Trump came out and said, hey, we're the party of peace, support the police, and don't, go home, be peaceful. And Instagram or Twitter took that down. It was up for 10 minutes or something, and they took it down and pretended he never said it to try to frame him for insurrection at a mostly peaceful protest. The only shot fight. I mean, come on. Nobody believes that.
Oh, dude. Minnesota said Klobuchar, Senator Klobuchar. She got community notes today.
Yeah,
we were talking about the
pull it up if you
police
can.
officers. Yeah, let me go find.
Well, let me play this on X. I had to switch because on Instagram the story is blank. They removed it. So this is another thing RFK Jr. was saying that they don't want you to hear. So I'm going to amplify his message. Here we go. Volume. Here we are.
Time you've said publicly that I've been dishonest about that. Can you show us a single pre-licensing safety trial, placebo-controlled safety trial for any of the 72 vaccines required for American children? And he made that show of looking through a file, and he said, well, they're back in Bethesda. And I said, will you send them to me? And I never heard from him again, so we sued the HHS.
Talking about Fauci, of course.
Under the Freedom of Information Law, after a year of litigation, they sent us a letter which is posted on CHD's website that acknowledges that they are now not able to locate a single pre-licensing safety trial, placebo-controlled for any of the vaccines that are now mandated for children. These are zero liability vaccines. I'm not anti-vaccine, but I think we need to be honest and we need to have good science. I spent 30 years trying to get mercury out of the fish in this country, and nobody ever called me anti-fish. I said
that part right there. Let me play that last line. It's all for that last line.
Good science. I spent 30 years trying to get mercury out of the fish in this country, and nobody ever called me anti-fish.
spent 30 years trying to get mercury out of the fish in this country. Nobody's ever called him anti-fish. Wow. Blake, thoughts on that? Obviously, the Instagram feed took it down, so let's talk about it more. You're not going to censor us, and I'm not buying anything about Zuckerberg at all. His platforms are still censorship monsters. So anyway, but what thoughts on that there?
Okay, now I'm not a scientist. I'm not a medical professional, but I don't think mercury is necessarily needed. Perhaps they can find other compounds. When they first came up with the idea of these inoculations and protecting people from smallpox, they didn't have all the vaccines and the mercury or the squalene or any of these funky chemicals that pharmaceutical companies put them in today. And maybe they make sense for certain reasons, but we're not really sure what's going to happen with when you put these sort of compounds.
And RFK says, show me the placebo control. Show me peer reviewed placebo control. Like let's get all of. Show me. Yeah. They're in Bethesda. Send them. We can't locate a single one. Wow. I think that's a conversation worth having. And guess what? We're like 2 weeks away from having that conversation. It's about effing time. By the way, you can go to cisa.gov/rumor control, since we're talking about J6 and all of the psyops that happened that day when they escorted a bunch of peaceful people through and ruined their lives. So go there and go to the WHO website, who.int, and cdc.gov for all medical issues. Also, cdc.gov/vaccines, specifically regarding vaccine-related medical claims and political implications thereof. I have now given you the disclaimer under duress. So it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Mr. Blake. Did you pull up an ad or pull up a story? You're pulling something up here?
Oh, the one that I was mentioning.
Let me switch to your screen.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Thank you. Yeah, Klobuchar, Senator of Minnesota, got community notes because she was talking about how 4 years ago, the electoral vote certification was interrupted by a violent mob. It's in January 6th. She says police officers were injured and killed. Our democracy hung in the balance.
Oh,
we knew we had to do our duty and complete the count. And in the early hours of January 7th, we did. And so the community notes call her out and says, yeah, no officers were killed. And that's another thing I put earlier. Actually, I got it from Glenn Greenwald, just showing different people in the media saying that, reporting that the police officer Brian Sicknick was, beaten by the angry mob with a fire extinguisher. That never happened.
No, it did not. Blake, where are you sharing this? It's on your X feed. You're at TV's Blake Wally, BlakeWalley, and of course the New American Media is at American_media_.
Yeah, let me.
Oh, here, look, I have a design thing. Check this out. A2D2. Is there a way for me to record an audio track underneath that so I could be reading what it's saying as it's clicking? Because that's a cool graphic.
I mean, you can do it with like a video editing. You can pop that. If I can send you that post, you should be able to put it in your iMovie, and then you can voice record, and then you can probably space out. You could record your voice normally, and then you could
do a voiceover.
Stretch that thing, however.
If you could send me that along with the recommendation for that movie with Mel Brooks, and send me the Why Trump Wins video, because I think it expired. I was supposed to click it, but I forgot where it was. If you could send me those three things, I would love to do that.
Okay.
So it's Judging Your Life, or what's it called? Life After Brian?
It's called Defending Your Life.
Defending Your Life.
So let's see that.
So that, Why Trump Wins, and
then the
I just uploaded the version of Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way, with the
watermark on?
Yeah, with the watermark. I've had that sitting there for a month. I finally uploaded it today. Great work on that one, by the way. Fantastic. Fantastic editing. Blake's available for hire. Reach out.
Right. Not a professional, but a self-taught amateur to intermediate editing skills.
Hey, showing up
I'll work
is
cheap.
90% of the
Right.
battle.
You're right.
I'll be your agent. I'll be your agent. Let me sell you high. I'll take my 10% and I'll get you double what you were anticipating.
Perhaps I could go on Fiverr and Upwork and just be like, "Hey, I'll do it for a good review," but we'll see. Until I can get a portfolio together, But anyway,
you have a portfolio. You've done some cool stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like professional level, but it's certainly better than. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even know how. They wouldn't have the time, or they would charge a fortune for it. Oh, but just to finish up that last part on Amy Klobuchar.
Oh yeah, let me go back to that.
What she was talking about, like just those officers died, like implying that they were all killed by the insurrectionists. So, but that's not true. One of those officers, Brian Sicknick, died of a stroke. That was weird. But then the other officers that she mentioned, they all died of suicide. And it was either days or months later. I think that's highly suspicious for all of them.
Yeah.
Whether they were maybe potential whistleblowers, maybe not. It was a sad situation, but they were not killed by protesters. So I'm glad she got called out. F you, Amy.
F you. All right, let's go to this one. Amy Klobuchar. She's one of the worst. All right, what's this next one? Here's a throwback to January 6th. Let's play this video. Volume up. I don't know how up it is. I don't see the... Let's try.
Scene you're going to get to hear. Look at that. You hear a lot of sound there, folks, and you see this footage. It's pretty dramatic.
Sounds very riotous.
It does. Here's the actual footage. It's a silent movie. Same footage, exact camera. We matched the camera to the second. But there's no footage there, no sound footage at all.
Hollywood production.
That footage was thrown in there to create a dramatic movie-like effect. It's no longer evidence now. It's now been turned into a little bit of propaganda.
Fan fiction.
It's one thing if they told the public they did it, right, Amanda? But they don't. Look how silent it is. It looks like a 1920s silent movie. Bad behavior being shown there. Look at the guy kicking the door. These are bad people. But we were given an extra effect that didn't exist on these tapes. Now, in a few seconds, we're going to roll to another tape, and you're going to see a similar circumstance, an outside shot of the Capitol, one of the more famous shots that we all remember. And again, there's no sound. Somebody dubbed in the sound afterwards to create it Hollywood style instead of evidence. Here we go. Here's the second footage.
They deleted all their stuff too, all their files, and they were told not to.
Pretty loud. Now watch this. There's no sound. There was no. Why? Because these are closed circuit television cameras. Here is the first January 6th committee hearing footage that you might have seen. You're going to get to hear.
Dramatization may not have occurred.
Look at that. You hear a lot of sound there, folks, and you see this footage.
Anyway, there it goes. Blake, I mean, it was a Hollywood production from top to bottom.
Yeah, there needs to be some prison time for that kind of stuff. You're framing innocent people, and you're creating a massive deception of the public.
Exactly.
In the narrative, there's going to be a lot of people that could face consequences for what they tried to pull off.
And following up on Amy Klobuchar and Sicknick.
Consider the death of police officer Brian Sicknick. Now, we still don't know exactly how Officer Sicknick...
And rest in peace to the man. I mean, I have nothing but empathy there, but the way that this was politicized and romanticized and fantasized.
No, he was a Trump guy too, and his friend is, tried to, mention him. I mean, it's some really weird things happened after that day, and it's too bad that any of this happened, and innocent people did face a lot of consequences for a lot of different things.
Agreed.
Nick died. We're not certain that anyone does know. No one has explained it. But after reviewing the previously withheld video evidence, we can tell you with certainty that Officer Sicknick was not beaten to death by Trump voters at the Capitol.
And Blake, remember when Tucker did this? And it was like, holy shit, they're lying about this too? Because you asked a question that I didn't answer earlier. You said that was such a weird day, and I think we get hung up on the communications part of the day, but we didn't really discuss like how walking back to the hotel. And I mean, it was, I don't know how far we had to walk. Actually, Blake, you could figure it out. You could probably type in from the cabin to the hotel. Was it many miles? It felt like for fucking ever.
It was a long walk. I mean, it was a long walk from the hotel to the wherever we first met up. Was that the Washington Monument?
It was
there.
Long.
And then from there to the Capitol. Yeah, it was long. I mean,
and we were quiet, and I was pissed. I was really pissed because Trump's like, "Come out, it's gonna be wild." And you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be wild. You busted them. There's no way Biden got 81 million. Okay, you're gonna be here. They're gonna try to steal it. You're gonna arrest them. Like this is gonna be fucking finally. Like I can't believe we let this get so out of hand. Like there's no way Biden actually won this thing." By the way, go to cisa.gov/rumor control because they think this was the only free and fair election, 2020, because Joe Biden's so popular and Kamala is so popular. But yeah, it was a very quiet, very strange walk back. Did we do a report that night with Mike, or was it the next? Was it that night?
I think we did it that night.
The next morning.
Everything got so ugly when we got back. We had no idea. We're just radio silence, not knowing, just hearing things from different people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know people were inside the building. I didn't know we heard someone got shot. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that wasn't anything we were participating in. We didn't directly see any of that, although I got some incredible riot footage. Go to the YouTube channel to check that out. But yeah, so we did a report the next day. Yeah,
that night was awful. We were just drained of energy because we got up early to attend all the festivities, and then by the end of the day, just wiped. And then that long
tear gassed
after everything. After getting tear gassed.
Like you didn't get it that bad though. How did you avoid it?
Oh, I got hit. Yeah, they had to flush my eyes out. And
they did. I didn't.
Yeah, remember I had all the snot all over me, and yeah.
Yeah, I was lost in my own world. I just kind of assumed like you got out a couple seconds before I did, and you didn't get the brunt of it. But yeah, they had to rinse my eyes out, and then we got a video of them helping somebody else. And like, I've never been tear gassed before. I'm just there to film. I'm just there to document a historical event. Yeah, that got weird. Yeah, that walk home took forever. It was like a 2-hour walk. We're walking.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I mean, it was at least an hour. I'm sure. It was. Yeah, it was. It was.
I remember also. Like, it's funny the things you remember. I remember having new Adidas like hiking shoes, and they weren't broken in. Oh man, they were broken in after that. My feet were broken in. I don't know that I've really worn them since. Oh man, did I break those things in? Oh, yeah, comfortable shoes are a must.
And then finally we get back to the room and you turn on the news and it was like, oh my God, like they have a totally different perspective on what happened. And then I remember you got a phone call from a friend of yours that it was like, that had his own conclusion about what actually happened, even though you were there. And
I love that you were getting pissed at him on behalf of me. You're like, who the hell are you talking to? What the hell? This guy said, what is he? I'm like, Blake, I ended up going to a football game with him this year, by the way. But like our relationship has been severely strained by this because he's bought into all he watches CNN and thinks he's getting information. You can't talk to someone that willingly tunes into a comedy network thinking they're getting actual information. Dude, you put your hands up and you go, all right, man. But yeah, that day he was just hammering me nonstop. And the only reason I tolerated it, like you said, hang up. Who the hell? Hang the phone up. You don't need to talk. I go, I've known this guy forever. Like, just let him vent. I don't know what's going on. Just whatever. And it did. It sucked. I was getting dumped on. Because that was the narrative for 2 years. Oh, Trump's an insurrectionist. And it's like you just put your hand, you're like, I don't even want to get involved in this stuff anymore. That's the retrospective. If we're talking, where were we 4 years ago? Check out Blake's YouTube channel. Check out the New American Media's YouTube channel. Scroll back to 4 years ago. You'll see a lot. We were there and we were filming. We were interviewing people. We did declassified the unreleased J6 files. That was a really good one. Special editing credit goes out to someone who did not want to be named on the project. So an unnamed editor. Thank you so much to that person, whoever that may be. But yeah, I mean, that was the reality for 2 years, Blake. We kind of put our heads down and we're like, well, I don't want to. They're arresting who? They've ruined the lives of these peaceful people because they were let inside for a guided tour. This is insanity. People have 4 years for trespassing. They didn't do anything violent. They had no criminal history and they've never been charged. This is cruel and unusual torture from the Obama-Biden regime, is it not?
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, you can't just put people away and put with no charges. And you heard about the horrors of that decent gulag. They're like just inhuman. Like, come on, this is America. You know, you can have political prisoners and you can hate somebody, but you can't be messing with their. I mean, the things that they were doing to those inmates was just.
And I shared something on X at American_media_. Make sure you're following Blake. He's at TV's Blake, BLAKE. WALLEY at TV's Blake Wally. And it was an article. Actually, maybe I should just pull it up because it's one of the last things. Oh, hold on. RFK Jr. Easy Tiger. Yeah, it was one of the last things that I shared. It was Insurrection Barbie. Let me share this tab instead. Let me just, and then I'll get back to Tucker. I can almost see all of this. Let me go this route. Well, here, let me go that way. All right, Insurrection. Do you follow Insurrection Barbie, Blake?
I know the name. I probably do on Twitter or.
Yeah, it's a pretty good follow, I think. Anyway, it says she says, I was in a space tonight where I heard 4 people who survived the J6 ordeal speak. I don't think people understand what kind of physical and psychological torture has been done to these people. People who committed misdemeanors, who were first-time nonviolent offenders, were ripped away from their families, their children, and their loved ones. They were thrown into solitary confinement for months at a time. No phone calls, no letters, no lawyers. They were debanked, deplatformed. They were put on a terror watch list permanently. Every single time they fly, they get flagged and make a spectacle out of every airport. And they're made a spectacle of at every airport. One of these people had their son on a terrorist watch list. He was 2 years old at the time. These are people who are guilty of parading or trespassing. Listening to their stories is heartbreaking and also extremely infuriating. Hey, Blake, let me call an audible. Can we switch the music from this one? I get where this is going. I'm feeling something a little different, something a little more. Let's see what Blake comes up with. Blake is a music aficionado.
I'm a music snob.
This is epic.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like trance, but like I could work with this. I could work with this. I'm very good with this.
There's either chill, there's down tempo, chill hop, but I mean trance. I don't know if that would fly. Might be a little too distracting.
No, I'll listen. Let's give it a shot.
I just don't know if I have any.
TNAM Night Show, and we're trying new things because it's 2025, and we're gonna not be like Einstein saying the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. By the way, we're getting better. We're in double digits on almost every podcast that we put out now on Spotify, the Agree to Disagree show, which is really great. On Rumble, most of the videos are in triple digits. Things are happening slowly, but they are growing a little bit. What's this music now?
This is just atmosphere. I'm just curious to see what it is.
Okay, I could work with atmospheric.
Sounds like a game show.
Oh. Blake, you know I was on a game show?
Yeah. With Carlton? Yeah.
With Carlton?
You wanted to do you want to do a game show with conspiracy theories or something. But maybe.
Yeah, I do.
Agree on what the answers are for anything like that. So, anyway. Okay, we'll run with this for a while.
All right, we'll go with this. Let me get back to this post from Insurrection Barbie. because we're doing a retrospective on January 6th, and Blake and I were in the unique position of having covered this in the most new American media way possible, in the most, I don't believe corporate media, I don't believe the lying legacy media. We're going to go there and we're going to talk to people. We're going to see what there is to see. We're not going to make ourselves the central thrust of the story. We're just going to go vacuum up information and data and show it to you. And that's what we did. I'm glad that we did. And if Blake wouldn't have invited me, it wasn't even on my radar. It just wasn't. Like,
we had kind of stepped out of the media for a while. I mean, I did too, like right after 2017, 2018. And I started getting back into it in 2020. We did a couple of shows in 2019, but not really, just a few. We didn't really, we just, it was kind of that gap in the Trump years. It just kind of felt like things were normal again.
But remember how exhausted we were after 2016. Just taking Hillary out, the demonic energy surrounding her, it took a lot out of me. I remember we went to Conscious Life Expo and I did those angel readings. I never released that video. I was too personal. I never watched it a second time. And I was exhausted, and I'm like, I don't want to do. I said something along the lines of, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just kind of, I took a step back and covered sport. I never stopped doing what I'm doing, but I wasn't doing the regular shows with the regularity that I had been over the past 13 years, you know? Anyway, let me get back to this. She says, once again, let me hit reset. This is back to Insurrection Barbie. One of these people had their son on a terrorist watch list. He was 2 years old at the time. These are people guilty of parading or trespassing. Listening to their stories is heartbreaking and also extremely infuriating, because this didn't happen in some third world hellhole. This happened in the United States of America, where we now have a class of political prisoners. This happened in the United States of America, and nobody could do anything to stop an out-of-control justice system and an even worse Bureau of Prisons. Yeah, the conditions, by the way. Anyway, Republican members of Congress, have you heard these people's stories? Have you heard what they've had to endure, what their families have had to endure, what they are still going through over a freaking misdemeanor? I really urge people to listen to their stories, because after you listen to them, you will never see our government in the same light. Pardons are great, very necessary, but these people have been to hell and back, and there better be a whole lot of accountability. Otherwise, it's only a matter of time before you or I are next. Because you see, that's how tyranny works. That's how abuse of power works. Blake, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there was a chill factor, and they were just like hunting people down one by one all over the country, and it didn't matter who you were. You could be like, it's like grandmother, 71-year-old. It does, you know, your people that they didn't even know what they were doing. They didn't know they were in a restricted area. They just walked into a building as everybody else was. The police and security didn't seem to mind, and people's house is a public place. And next thing you know, the Justice Department is hunting you down and raiding your home at 6 a.m, treating you like a prisoner, throwing you in the gulag, and you're being held without charges. You don't know what the hell's going on. You're separated from your family, and they're gonna break you down, and they want you to. They want to charge you with insurrection and throw you in that, keep you there for the rest of your life, so that they can hold on to their, power and their narrative. So that would have been like the basis for that Hunger Games timeline. It's like where the elites kind of just lock down the country, and then they keep just softening up the public until about 20, 30 years. They're just letting us fight each other for sport.
Well, Blake, I think, like Running Man or something. I feel like when Tucker released this, was this about 2 years ago now? It was revolutionary that somebody was standing up and speaking out on this stuff, and you could feel the tide start to turn. And it was not long after this that Tucker Carlson was booted off of the Fox News network because he was too effective. Too many people were listening to him. He was making a dent, and he wasn't reading their narrative. Fox News is in on it, guys. Fox News has jumped the shark, lost the plot. They're in on it, like CNN, like MSNBC. Maybe slightly different. Well, I like Tucker. I think Jesse Waters is pretty good. There's that big wrestler guy. He's kind of funny. Yeah, they have some talented people, and they let some people say some things sometimes. The network is the same thing as CNN or MSNBC. Blake, am I right or wrong?
Yeah, mostly right. I mean, back in the day, yeah, Fox was terrible. And, I agree. Those are some good people. They still have to play within a narrative. They do get away with some good stuff. Greg Gutfeld actually came back. He finally made his
I love Gutfeld.
Eternity. Yeah, and there's some great stuff you can get on there. Yeah, but they certainly do have to play by the corporate rule book. And there are certain things you're not allowed to say on corporate media. So,
by the way, I think we would do an incredible show similar to Gutfeld if we had the right producer to help us make it happen. Yeah. I am certain that we could crush something like that, like a Daily Show Gutfeld. Get a comedy writer or two to just kind of punch
a team. Yeah, they got a team of people and pros, and
so does Bill Maher, so does everybody. The Tonight Show, they have 40 writers on their roster. Of course, it takes a team, but I know we could crank out something good. Anyway, let me just play this thing by Tucker, and let's move on. I want to keep it moving here.
The tape shows very clearly Brian Sicknick walking through the building in apparent health after the media told us for 2 years that he had been murdered. So they were wrong about that. Okay, they got caught. Here's the interesting thing. They won't admit it. Liz Cheney's tweet is still on Twitter tonight. Officer Sicknick was killed defending our Capitol from the violent mob on January 6th.
Blake, Liz Cheney, does she deserve treason charges?
Yeah, she was responsible for witness tampering and deleting evidence. Yeah, and she totally reframed that whole story. Is totally something different than it was. And she did it all for political purposes. Her and her father are two of the most evil, despicable people in this country. So
soon, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
No correction. Anderson Cooper of CNN still has not apologized. Quote, Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the fight, he told us. Those are lies. So why not just admit it and move on? But they won't. In fact, this week, the White House trotted out both the press secretary and Joe Biden's attorney general, the attorney general of the United States, to claim not just that Brian Sicknick was actually murdered by Republicans at the Capitol, but that other officers were murdered too. It's almost beyond belief. Watch this.
Okay, Sideshow Bob getting ready to talk here. But yeah, I mean, our friends, our family just laid into us for 2 years. For 2 years in a row, because they listened to people like this thinking they were getting information. They were getting lied to. And they didn't have the discernment. They didn't have the information. They were ignorant to the reality of everything. But we took the brunt of it. We had to shut up. We had to be quiet. We had to let them yell even louder. All of the lies, Blake.
Yeah, it was not an enjoyable term, that's for sure. But a lot of things have changed in the last year, and now that Trump has won, and we're about to change everything, potentially. At least there's hope now. But it was a dangerous time. This was an ugly, ugly chapter between the COVID stuff, the lockdown, and then the January 6th thing. It was insane.
And we're gonna bounce past this on the Instagram feed. Follow the New American Media at the New American Media on Instagram. Follow Blake on X at TV's Blake Wally. Follow the New American Media at American_media_, and follow Blake's homepage, thenextlevelnews.com. But yeah, I mean, this is not even taken into account Justin Trudeau. I got a couple stories on this coming up in a second, but Trudeau with the truckers, with the COVID tyranny, the people of the world have spoken, and they are throwing all of these bums out. They are not going to be allowed to walk on the streets. They are not going to be able to walk the streets in peace. They've betrayed humanity. Anyway, here's Karine Jean-Pierre lying about things.
The wide range of bipartisan lawmakers, you heard them all yesterday, you guys reported on it, who have condemned this false depiction of the unprecedented violent attack on our Constitution and the rule of law, which cost police officers their lives.
It was a violent attack on a fundamental tenet of American democracy, that power is peacefully transferred from one administration to another.
Usually when they win. Usually when they win.
Over 100 officers were assaulted on that day. 5 officers died.
5 officers died on that day. Now, that's just not some guy on Twitter. That's the Attorney General of the United States. That's a man whose honesty is central to his job. If you had a choice between IQ and integrity in an Attorney General, of course you would go with integrity because it's essential. But Joe Biden's Attorney General, Merrick Garland, is a liar. He just lied about something that is provably false.
That's not conjecture. That's not an opinion. It's not what type of ice cream is best. What is the superior type of cookie? It's chocolate chip or it's oatmeal raisin. That's subjective. This is provably false.
Who are these 5 officers who were, quote, killed that day? Notice he didn't tell you. No one ever tells you. No one ever shows you their autopsies. They don't want any detail. They just want the slogan. Now, they're counting Brian Sicknick. That's a lie. But who are the other 4? Well, those are 4 officers who killed themselves after January 6th, in some cases long after January 6th. But their suicides, we know for a fact, were the result of the Republican mob at the Capitol. It's just false. And it's not some esoteric fact. That fact is available to anyone who has internet access. No police officers died that day on January 6th. None.
And Fox fired him for saying this stuff, Blake.
Yeah. That was wild. No, I mean, I'm so glad that he had the balls to actually do it because most wouldn't. They did. He was like the only one.
An American
hero. Number one guy, and he still did it.
And they got rid of their number one guy, and then they settled a lawsuit. They pled guilty. They sabotaged their own trial with the vote counting companies to throw their own people under the bus, to pay money so that it could publicly look like Fox was bad and their reporters were bad, but they didn't really ever have to pay the money back, maybe? I heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, Tucker's a hero for what he did.
Not one. Some were assaulted, that is true, and their assaults are indefensible. So how many were assaulted? Well, Garland said over 100. The Government Accountability Office says the number is 114, and we're just going to roll with that. We don't know if it's true, but we'll take it at face value. And that is bad. We are opposed to assaulting police officers in any context. We said that on January 6, 2021. We'll say it again. We're against that. But is January 6 the worst assault on the U.S. government since the Civil War? That's insane. It's not even close. Consider the death of police officer Brian Sicknick. Now, we still don't know.
All right, I think that was the last part there. Okay, any final thoughts there, Blake? You good?
Yeah, I think we covered it. But
Chair Turner, shortly after that, you said on this program, we have terrorists that are actively working inside the United States that are a threat to Americans. Do you know if there are active terror cells in the United States right now?
Well, I think the issue of cells, and you and I were talking about that at the beginning of the show, are there individuals that are affiliated with ISIS and terrorist groups and organizations that have crossed the border, that are inside the United States? Director Wray, FBI director, has said so. We certainly have intelligence that says so. I agree with his assessment. Jim has also seen it. He's testified before our committee publicly of that fact. Those individuals are working in conjunction with ISIS with the intention of harming Americans. The director has said it directly.
They are known to U.S. intelligence and law enforcement.
And we are working diligently to try to take them down, to prevent them from doing so. And that's why the director is publicly saying such. And that's what the new administration is going to be handed. The fact that these individuals are here, that we need to locate them, we need to remove them, we need to bring them to justice and prevent them from doing harm to Americans.
Chair Turner.
All right. So these people are here, Blake. They know that the terrorists are here. They left the door wide open so 30 million illegal alien invaders could overthrow our country, stage themselves in strategic positions, and wait until given the orders and launch a series of attacks, like the Tet Offensive in Vietnam, where on a certain day, certain time, all hell broke loose everywhere at once. This is ramping up. We saw the attacks in New Orleans, the attack in Vegas, a place where you used to live, a city like New Orleans that I visited, and of course Vegas visited as well. They're all about this stuff right now, Blake. What do you make of this? Is it a little too on the nose for you, where it feels a little bit like a CIA operation, since we all know ISIS is a creation of Obama, McCain, and the deep state? Or is this is what Biden has done? He's really trying to destroy this country, and he allowed sleeper cells to come in, and they're getting ready to go ballistic. Be ready, stay frosty. What say you?
It could be a combination of all of it. I'm not really sure. I expect probably more, unfortunately, more events like that. But the Las Vegas one was really strange. I'm still not even really sure I have, half the story straight. And I know that there was a lot of commotion about a supposed email that he wrote, and I don't know if that's actually true or not. But a lot of people did believe it. I kind of stayed out of the fray, and I've seen a lot of other people just debunk it. And there's a lot of interesting reporting going on there, but it's hard to tell what's actually happening because we kind of covered it. We didn't know too much. It seemed odd that this man would all of a sudden decide to blow up this cyber truck in front of the Trump Tower, and then later it seems like he, wasn't really necessarily a bad guy, or that he was a Trump guy, and that if he was this, special forces explosive guy, he certainly wouldn't have tried to blow himself up. But then they found like his passport and his military ID, and they were still intact, even though he was supposedly burned beyond recognition. So we don't even know if that's his body or if they framed him. There are so many questions about that, and I haven't dug in enough. I was gonna do that in show prep if we're doing a show tomorrow, but
let's do one tomorrow. But we talked about it, and I responded to Elon. I got a response from from Jason Kelsey. I'm like, it's the Browns at the Broncos. He's from Cleveland? Why is he wearing a Broncos jersey? And he responded to me. He gave me like 6 paragraphs full of every week I go and do that. I responded to Elon, and because Elon said the Tesla vehicles will not allow someone to drive unless they're responsive. Because the question was this guy in Vegas, was he dead? Was he just sent there in a kamikaze mission, if you will? You just program the address and you send a dead guy sitting in there and you got a remote control bomb. Okay, let's talk about it. Elon's like, oh no, you can't do that. That you have to be responsive. And I said, excuse me, Elon, as a layman, I don't think you have to put in something that charts your pulse. Like you don't have to have a wristband on that measures your pulse rate. Can you explain it to us? Why is that not the case? There's a million unanswered questions with this, and they both happen on the same day. People like Scott Adams, they give their reasons, but they go, it's not coincidental. If any, January 1st is kind of like the most obvious day if you're going to do a thing. Well, he goes, if it's March 11th for no apparent reason and all these things happen, then okay, it seems like something was activated on March 11th. But New Year's, it's like as soon as 2025 starts, we're going to do something, and that's so I don't know what to make of it, Blake. But I don't want this to become a trend. But we have 30 million illegal alien invaders that are sitting around waiting, just getting ready to start January 20th. I can't say that I'm super excited to go. I'm going to say that I feel obligated to go. And if it's like Ford said, he goes, if it's my time, it's my time. I'm not gonna cower. I'm not gonna hide in fear. But my God, if I were my parent, I wouldn't let me go. I would sincerely try to talk me out of going, but I'm not wired that way. I'm just gonna go. But my God, like that's going to be like the most obvious target with all of these drones off New Jersey, not too far away from DC, mind you, all up and down the eastern seaboard, all the mysterious fog, the Democrats being way too polite, way too courteous, way too professional. Oh, we're going to have a responsible transfer of power. Oh, are we? Oh, are we? I don't buy it, Blake. So I don't know. Any thoughts on any of that?
Good luck with that. I'd love to go if it was convenient, but it's a little too much. It's an interesting day. I hope you get some good footage and it's worthwhile and nothing crazy happens. If something crazy happens, I hope you can film it and get lots of credit for it.
Good luck with that. Okay, this is that lady that we had on the TV the other day, or on our program, the Agree to Disagree show the other day. Dr. Lena Wen. I don't need to play it because we played it the other day, but just this is on the Instagram feed, the New American Media.
DC Drano and Thomas Massey were getting into a Twitter flame.
Not just them, also Cat Turd.
Yeah.
I
didn't see the cat back and forth.
Yeah, he's going at he made Massey made fun of Cat. Can you pull up that tweet? That is kind of
too. I think it was DC Drano and Cat.
And he called he messed with both of their names. He gave him like a nickname. Anyway, Dr. Lena Wen got almost everything wrong during COVID, and she demonized effective drugs like ivermectin. Now she's calling on Biden to authorize bird flu vaccines and inject vulnerable Americans with them before Trump takes office. Blake, would you recommend this?
Sorry, I was looking on Twitter for the next story.
Please go ahead and look. The question is, would you recommend bird flu vaccines to vulnerable Americans?
No, but I don't sell vaccines, so I don't know. Maybe if I work for the CDC, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's make lots of money. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly a financial incentive to push things. But was it the first man in Louisiana died yesterday or today? So now they're going to be like, oh my God, it's coming. Everyone's scared. And they're going to watch all those stupid statistics on CNN. And they're going to go rush out to their nearest pharmaceutical store. Go grab one. They're going to have Walgreens and CVS and Walmart. And they're going to, you got your vaccine? Bird flu? Bird flu is coming around. And they got another flu. I don't know. Who knows?
What was it on South Park where the turkeys they're just meandering about peacefully in a field, and the two rednecks are like, they're coming right for us, get them, and then they all shoot like, they're coming right at us, get them, this flu is coming right at us, get it. Nice. Anyway, here's a list. If you go to the New American Media and follow us on our stories at Instagram, these are the 158 Democrats who voted against deporting sex offenders. So every one of these people needs to be recalled immediately. And these people, if they cannot be recalled fast enough, you primary them and you make sure every single one of these people is punished for not defending and protecting the most vulnerable people among us, Blake. Any disagreement there?
No, they deserve to be shamed for that. They should be held accountable. They should answer constituents on that. They cannot get away with that. This radical Democrat Party needs to be purged from our civilization forever.
Agreed. They've earned it.
Their ideas anyway, yeah, in their stupid voting, yeah.
Say that last part again.
Like for their ideas. I'm not talking. I mean, or maybe they should be deported.
For their ideas, yeah.
Whatever. I'm not going to say, oh no, you don't need to deport them just because they didn't vote on. I mean, no. I mean, what am I going to say?
Well, you mentioned shame. Let's talk about Chuck E. Schumer, 6 Ways from Sunday. Can anyone ask him what he meant by 6 Ways from Sunday? I saw somebody ask that question, and I cannot stop asking it to myself. What did Chuck E. Schumer mean 6 Ways from Sunday? Answer. Someone ask him that question until he answers.
You piss off the CIA or the intelligence community, they got 6 Ways from Sunday from getting back at you. Yeah,
so ask him to elaborate. Is he a member of the Black Eye Club? Not black guy.
Oh, that might be a little too much, but I'm just saying that in general, like if you had to say, right, like just the movie Enemy of the State, like if you get on their radar, they will find every single way of having you tracked and wiretapped, and they can just find every speck of dirt, go through every last email or drunken text message, and they will find it all, and they will come after you with it. So they are. There's a movie called Gray Man. I don't know if that's going to be a ply either.
Yeah, I watch that. I watch all these movies. I watch every one of these. You go, how did you not see this movie from 1984? I'm like, dude, I was like 2 years old. I don't know. But like, I see all these Enemy of the State and Gray Man. I love this shit. The Born Identity. I love these movies. Also, anything with Stephen King in a prison set in the 30s. But anyway, we're talking about shame, Blake. This is from Chucky Schumer. He says, it's utterly shameful that the president-elect is considering pardons for January 6 rioters, pardoning criminals who waved Confederate flags, donned Nazi symbols, assaulted police officers, and tried to halt the democratic process will be a dangerous endorsement of political violence. It is wrong. It is reckless. And it would be an insult to the memories of those who died in connection to that day. Oh, that's a sneaky way to make an edit, isn't it? Instead of saying died on that day, those who died in connection to that day. But is it utterly shameful, Blake?
No, it's not utterly shameful. This is America, and you're innocent until proven guilty. And they haven't proven these people guilty, and they've been throwing this, oh, they're insurrection. No, they're political prisoners. So fuck you, Chucky. Yeah.
There you go. But here, the reason I shared this mainly was because of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's response. So Chuck Schumer says it's utterly shameful the president-elect is considering pardons for J6 rioters. Marjorie Taylor Greene says it's utterly shameful that today the Biden administration released 11 Yemeni terrorists from Guantanamo Bay and sent them back to Oman. Releasing Islamic terrorists who would kill every American in the name of their God is dangerous endorsement of terrorism. It is wrong, it is reckless, and it is an insult to the memories of those who died on 9/11, every terrorist attack against Americans, victims on January 1st, 2025 in New Orleans, and our great American military members who died fighting against terrorism. You should be ashamed, Senator Schumer. Thoughts, Blake?
I don't think there's any shame there. So, no, I don't think he's
I've already dealt with all the
lost soul. That one.
Okay. Here's MTG again. This is a Fed-surrection on Real America's Voice, 4-year anniversary. Look at this. It's like a guided tour.
Stupid questions from the leftists and the activists and the media that are trying to constantly talk about, January 6th and falsely call it an insurrection. It was not an insurrection. Nope. It was a Fed-surrection. And it's time for those people to be held accountable, as well as the members of Congress that served on the January 6th committee. So I look very much forward to that happening. Here were the questions I got asked today. I got asked about the police officers that were attacked. I got asked about how Democrats' feelings were hurting today after the January 6th from 4 years ago. So I reminded every single one of them about night after night riots by BLM and Antifa and how many of those police officers were attacked, and over 95% of those BLM and Antifa rioters, charges were dropped, and they never served a single day in jail.
Blake, I need to slow her roll because she's spitting too many facts to keep up here, but holy shit. Yeah, they let everybody out from BLM who was burning America down because they were pushing their narrative to do anything they could to make it harder for Trump to win re-election. And they almost all got released without charges, without bail, and all these nonviolent people have been through hell and back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a double standard too on top of it. So how can they possibly put the J6 people and they're not going to do anything? I mean, these are people that are actually committing art. They're wearing ski masks and they're out vandalizing or burning shit down, throwing Molotov cocktails, going after officers. There's a lot of issues there, but they're okay. Remember when Trump was going to try to class
a domestic terrorist organization?
Yeah, and they're like, no, don't do that. and they want to go for the Proud Boy. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's
Proud Boys were like, we don't want our neighborhoods to burn down, just like Kyle Rittenhouse. So like, we just don't want our stuff to be attacked. Oh yeah, you're an awful monster. I'm sorry, what? Based on what? Okay, Marjorie Taylor. Yeah, right.
And so I also asked them how many of those Democrats are feeling sorry and have their feelings hurt for those police officers as well. You see, it's ridiculous. They can continue to feign their outrage, but I could care less about a single bit of it because today was a great day. Today we certified a historic presidential election. President Trump received more votes than any Republican presidential candidate in history, and we were honored to certify the election, and we
more votes than any Republican candidate. Oh, okay. Well, it's a growing population, so it's not. Okay. If it was an electoral landslide more than any, okay. I was just
cannot wait to get them into office. I've already dealt.
Anyway, yeah. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's one of the good ones, right? She does a pretty good job.
Yeah, she does. She's got her issues, whatever, but for the most part, she's been pretty good.
Agreed. This is from Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds is one of the good people in Congress. Once again, we're just kind of going through what we posted on Instagram. Every day, our stories on Instagram are freaking fire. So you better follow us, the New American Media. And I don't like Meta. I don't know why I'm pumping them, but like I like the platform of Instagram. So like I share things every day on this platform on the New American Media that don't even make it into our Tuesday, Thursday shows, the Agree to Disagree show. So this is kind of fun. And it's like, it's all laid out. Maybe it's a little disjointed and out of order, but I just share things as I see them. Byron Donalds posting a picture of Trump here saying, Democrats got a chance to run the country, Blake, and they ran it into the ground with the worst president in modern history. Their open border failed. Their weak foreign policy failed. Their inflationary Bidenomics failed. Their censorship and lawfare failed. Change is coming on 1/20. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm completely right on there. The open border, yeah, that was a spectacular failure, and even MSNBC finally admitted it like last week. I mean, it took them that long, and because they did try to cover up Biden's mental decline and so many other things. Yeah, they were a disaster, and who knows how it could have gone if they would have been able to somehow, if they would have won another term, either Biden or Kamala.
Oh God, no. God, no. Yeah, and we got to talk about Trudeau. I don't even know what's on here. I didn't really do show prep, but here's one that was interesting. It says the biggest scam in life, paying taxes on money you make, then paying taxes on the money that you spend, then also paying taxes on things that you own that you already paid taxes on with already taxed money. Blake, I mean, do you have any hope that Doge is going to come in and just revolutionize how we do everything? Or do you think it's going to be a lot of great ideas and it's all going to get bogged down, watered down, and we're just going to be left going, really nothing good out of all this? Are you taking the black pill like a few of our friends? We don't need to out them publicly. I talk about them occasionally, but God, it's like they never waste an opportunity to take a decent story and turn it negative. I got several people in the independent journalism community that just, God, I don't know if they're just negative in general or just negative against Trump, but holy shit, it gets old after a little while. But thoughts, what say you? Are you hopeful, or you just think if you had to place $100 bet, do you think we're going to get broad sweeping changes, or it's just going to be a little incremental this and that, and it's just going to be more of the same?
How broad? I'll say 75% towards the broad. I've got to be optimistic. I think they've hyped this Doge thing up, and between outsiders like Vivek and Elon, I think they could get a lot of stuff done, or at least expose it. But then it's going to be up to the public to, fight the media, who are probably going to try to, fight against tooth and nail on everything. So we clearly need to cut down the size of government. And there's so much waste and so much corruption.
Right.
And we'll see. And then, of course, on top of it, it's unconstitutional to put taxes on people's labor. I'm always going to be against that. And that was put in much later. Now, we've normalized it now, but it should not be normal. So we have to reset the debt. There's a lot of financial things that we can do to make our lives a lot easier.
By the way, Blake, if you want to respond to this person here, talking about taxing labor, this person's offering some labor. I'm sure they would like to be compensated. So maybe we could try it out and see how it goes. Maybe they could join the team and we could pitch it and put them on payroll. But what say you about this one here? What's this comment? It says, hey, man, I'm just asking if you need a video editor to edit your live stream podcast and turn it into content that can be posted on social media. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, certainly got to keep it in mind because, I mean, yeah, the idea would be to take long form content and to make it into clips that could be repurposed. But a lot of those AI programs do charge by the minute, and that can get really expensive real quick. So the best way is to kind of do it yourselves. But again, with long form content, and then without, a really great structure, sometimes it can be time consuming, but I'm certainly interested in any possibility. So
what email should they reach out to you with, Blake, if they're
I would prefer not to use mine specifically because I know you got several, don't you, Brian?
You don't want to put your email out there.
Why? Or he can reach out to us just send us a message on like Twitter or something would be good, or Telegram.
Yeah, Blake's at TV's Blake Wally, and we're at TNAM and TNAM Chat. TNAM and TNAM Chat.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Sure. Well, thank you for the offer. Thank you for listening. We'll certainly keep that in mind.
Agreed. This one is Illinois Senate Democrats passing HB 5164, allowing illegal aliens and trans people to legally hide their name change. Republican Senate Minority Leader raised concerns that this would allow them to hide any past criminal behavior, Blake. Imagine you got like a rap sheet a mile long, and you're like, I'm not Blake. I'm Blamantha. I'm a girl.
Yeah.
I have no criminal history. Is that okay, or would you be concerned about that?
Yeah, I don't think you can do stuff like that. It doesn't sound right at all. No, I wouldn't do that. Employers or whoever should have some, if they are going to do a background on somebody, and it's okay if you're a felon, it's okay for you to be rehabilitated and to be a better person or what have you. But I mean, how much are they talking about getting rid of like your history and now you're a different identity and now we're supposed to trust you? I don't know if that the fresh start works like that. Maybe in certain situations, but no, I don't think I would like that at all. People have a right to know.
Agreed.
And people do change, and they certainly should have a chance at redemption if they can.
Good point there. Nick Sorter, he was just chiming in on Biden. It's not Biden, it's Obama and his team. They released 11 Yemeni terrorists from Guantanamo Bay just days before leaving office. Infuriating. These terrorists were captured in the aftermath of 9/11, and despite the rapidly deteriorating state of the Middle East, Biden decided to send them back to the field anyway. But our top two stories, Blake, and we'll kind of wrap this up here. But look at this. Officially unburdened by what has been breaking, Kamala Harris becomes the first woman to certify her own election laws. As if written by the Babylon Bee, Kamala Harris becomes the first woman to certify her own election laws. I mean, this was big. This was a big milestone, a big mile marker on the way to Trump's third term. Just thoughts on today. Were you watching it? I had it on TV. I was listening. I was watching. I never have Fox News on. I turned on Fox just to see what was going on. Did you watch it? How much of a big deal is this?
I saw the clips on Twitter. Yeah, I guess it's interesting because at least this one isn't contested.
Yeah.
Kind of one of the concerns, like even if Trump wins, is it going to be by enough where it removes all doubt? And I think people were kind of saying, like, yeah, go ahead and audit it because they're going to find out that there's going to be way more. It's going to be way worse. So they didn't want to do that. So yeah, I think they're accepting it, and that's good because yeah, we'd just rather see of course we want to see peaceful transition of power. Everybody does. But in the 2021, people had a lot of concerns about whether there's 81 million, and we've seen the graphics with the giant spikes. Like, it's very strange. It was the mail-in ballot. There was a lot of things that were done in that COVID era that hadn't been done before, and people were very suspicious of the results, and they had a reason to go protest. But I don't think for this one, it wasn't that an enthusiasm for her. So she just was a terrible candidate. So thankfully she stumbled out of there. Not today, but she messed up the Pledge of Allegiance the other day. So
she almost fell flat on her face. I don't know if people noticed that like I did, but she did like a rock back on her heel, then on the balls of her feet. Like she did like a whoa, whoa. She got like vertigo because she's probably high on something, and she almost ate shit. I don't know if anybody else really noticed that, but I noticed it right away. Did you catch that, or did you not happen to catch that?
I probably didn't see the extended clip. I think when I saw Gutfeld tonight, he mentioned something about that. Like, to be in her defense, it was 2 for 1 margarita night or something like that. So, yeah, it's like an open secret. She's a big drunk, and that's fine. Cool.
I almost went to 2 for 1 margarita night tonight. I was really tempted to go. Like, everybody's got like a local. Do you have you found a good local Mexican joint, Blake?
Yeah, there's a lot more options now where I'm in Nashville versus the small town I was.
Is it working out? Is it kind of cool? Are you like you're seeing the upside?
Oh, there's pros and cons, but it's definitely, it's nice to be kind of part of civilization. Although, ideally, I'd rather be like almost off the grid, but just with like fiber optic, and I could just be out on my own little plot of land in the middle of nowhere, go fishing, go hunting, chickens, garden, away from everything, but the fiber optic would have like lightning internet. That would be the dream. But hey, you know what? Can't complain too much. I'm out in the Nashville area, and there's a lot more things to do and a lot more opportunities. So, I'll make the most of it.
2025, all about Wally World. You know who it's not about? This is our final topic, and Blake, you can kind of go any direction you want with this. It's pretty much the biggest story. I've been just pleading with our neighbors to the north to get rid of Trudeau and make Canada great again. Holy shit, he stepped down today. It happened. Donald Trump chimed in. He said, many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. He resigned so quickly. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs. Taxes would go way down, and they'd be totally secure from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. Blake.
You're getting better with your Trump, right?
Oh, you're enjoying it. I'm doing I got to take that deep inhale through the nose, through the partially clogged deviated septum. But yeah, I'm tweaking it. I'm finding moments. I'm working on it. But you thought that was a little better?
Yeah, it's making some progress. Good job.
One of these days, I'm going to record myself doing it and then listen to myself and go, "Oh, that's not right. I like that part. I got to do more of that." But okay, 2 parts on this Canada story. Thoughts on Trudeau stepping down, and holy shit, are we really trying to purchase Greenland and Canada? I think we are. I think we're trying to cut a deal and merge the whole. It's going to be Oceania from 1984, George Orwell. We're going to take over this whole hemisphere by the time Trump is done. I feel like enormous things are coming in the next 4 years. What say you?
It certainly could be. We're going to change everything around. Yeah, that would be very wild. But I mean, that's been floating around with the Greenland thing. Sure, I don't know if that's plausible. Maybe it is. And then messing around with the Panama Canal, like he's really, going for some big moves. I like it. And yeah, maybe I'd be curious to see what Canada thinks and if they would actually, consider something like that. Or would it go like with the different provinces, like still, and they would think they would stay their own states. That would be interesting. I mean, necessarily against it. I mean, the Canadians are cool. They're not all too much different than us. And
I guess they have
too, right?
I think they've been voting really woke lately. And they're like, well, we can't bring any extra woke states into our nation. But my thought is, if you pass the SAVE Act, nobody's voting woke. Woke goes against your own national self-interest. Nobody actually votes for that. If you require voter ID and it's same-day voting, it's going to be common sense 80, lunacy 20. There's no, we're a 50-50 nation. Oh, it's a coin flip. No, it's not. So is Canada that lost, or has it been infiltrated, overthrown, and now by kicking Trudeau out? And I guess he's going to stay on until they get their next person. But what's the guy's name? Poilievre? We got to get used to his name because he's going to be the next guy.
Pierre Poilievre, whatever. Yeah.
Pierre Poilievre. I guess he's like 92% on, likely to win on some of the betting sites. But I don't know. I mean, did you expect Trudeau to actually resign? Trump was making fun of him, saying, "Oh, he's the governor of our 51st state, Canada."
Yeah.
In like 2 weeks, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to put all these tariffs on." And he's like, "Tariffs? Oh shit! Oh shit!" And you see the videos of Trudeau walking like he's getting out of a limo, going to a thing. They're screaming at him in the streets. "Fuck you! Get out, you!" There's that quote that we've heard for years saying, these people will not be able to walk the streets once we're done with them, once we're done exposing the extent of their treason. He saw the writing on the wall and he stepped down. Is it similar to how Biden was forced out? Do you think Trudeau was forced out?
They've got some issues up there that were unraveling, especially like financially. So there was pressure from within. I mean, I don't want to give Trump all the credit, or maybe he did, but I mean, certainly it was a big deal, even in Canada. That was quite a story for them. Kind of Trudeau getting dominated. But I mean, yeah, he's done a terrible job up there. They've run that place into the ground, and I think maybe one of the only things that protects him is the fact that they seem to have like a whole big like state media apparatus, which does poison the people with propaganda. So they never speak negatively of Trudeau. So they've kind of kept them insulated, but yeah, it's weird.
This is apparently a dance party at the Trudeau party. See that right there?
Yeah.
Without looking, Blake, now I don't know if you've already looked today. How long has Justin Trudeau, how long has his reign of terror lasted in Canada? Without looking.
Well, I just heard it was like 9 years. No, but I heard it on TV not too long ago. So
9 years.
Doesn't seem that long, but yeah.
Look at these flags. Like,
huh?
It feels like Trudeau's been in for like 50 years. I don't know why, but it feels like he's always been ruining Canada since I can remember. Now, it's not true, but man, these signs are beautiful to see. It gives a person hope, doesn't it? Because God, I've been praying for Canada. Those are our neighbors to the north. We can't have the lunacy from these people up there. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But don't forget, don't forget what this communist coward did to Canadians during COVID with the trucker rallies and all the stuff that they put their people through. Trudeau brought all of this on himself by being a puppet to the globalists, to the monsters, the traitors. And you think his dad is Fidel Castro, right?
99.999%. Yeah. There's no doubt. You look at the history, you look at the facts, you look at the pictures. There is zero doubt in my mind that is Fidel Castro. Do the paternity test. I'll be happy to be proven wrong. Bring it. I think it's an open secret. I think they knew about it, and that was another probably reason for him to make an exit, because they can't keep that forever. And with that comment, the public finds out, which they should know, but if there's freaking state-run media pretends like it's conspiracy theory, even though it's not. Anyway,
did you see what Candace Owens came out and said today?
No.
maybe it was yesterday, but she said there's a reason why that so many of the world leaders put closeted homosexuals in positions of power. She now this is a Candace Owens thing. She said Justin Trudeau, Barack Hussein Obama, Macron, who was molested by an older man who pretends to be his wife now. This
20
is
years older than him, yeah.
Yep, this is Candace Owens.
Chucky Schumer, probably.
Anyway,
I absolutely do. I know she puts out. I'm not gonna say I agree 100% with everything, and she's very good. I would believe her. You know, I would give her the benefit of the doubt on most things, but that does make sense. You put somebody who's compromised in a position of power, and you run them as a puppet, and they're blackmailed and. Yeah, so I could absolutely go with that.
And by the way, how much blackmail did they have on Bill Clinton? I mean, we don't have to go very far to understand. All right, I'm going to end it on this. This is the guy who's going to replace Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, and we'll wrap it up here. If Blake has any odds and ends he wants to pull up while I'm playing this.
Yeah, we got the Defending Your Life trailer from 1991. Can we play that? Because, I mean, it's like a trailer, right? Or is it like... would be copyright because you're promoting a movie? I mean, I don't really care if we play it. I can just send it to you.
We would have to comment every 10 seconds. Well, so let's do that. Let's comment every 10, 15 seconds. And by the way, I win these appeals. YouTube bans my shit every fucking week. They're so stupid. I hate YouTube so much. Go to Rumble and subscribe to the New American Media. We keep getting subscribers here and there, and it keeps growing, and like I said, we're in triple digits on most videos we do. We do live streams. We're in triple digits. We get, people are finding us there, but we spent 13 years building YouTube. So anyway, but here's Pierre Poilievre. Here's how you answer the ridiculous questions coming from the left. This says, since Justin Trudeau resigned, I felt the urge to share this epic Pierre Poilievre interview. And by the way, this is probably the first time I noticed who this guy was. He wasn't even on my radar until this. This account says, it never stops being entertaining. Watching Poilievre casually eat an apple while slam dunking the reporter's questions. Here we go.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideology.
By the way, this is the key to defeating the leftists. Steven Crowder figured this out. It's a Socratic method. You ask a lot of questions and help them clearly define whatever they're trying to say, because the more they talk, the less sense they make. He's just asking him, hold on, what do you mean by that? Can you explain?
Certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, I don't
really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Like watch.
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but.
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so you must know somebody.
Okay. I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page.
You
keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not sure. I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should
this is like Brett Baer talking to Kamala Harris. He goes, you know what I'm talking about? He goes, no, I do not know what you're talking about. But you see, Blake, you see the power in just asking someone for clarification. This guy is so out of his depth. This reporter has no idea how to handle this at all.
No, that's great. It's refreshing to see these sorts of things. And Carrie Lake did a phenomenal job as well. There are some people. It's not easy to do. You still got to know your stuff. But yeah, it's a good way to look at it that way and ask questions.
Did we cover Carrie Lake taking over for that American broadcasting thing that she's doing?
No.
Any thoughts on her getting that gig? She's going to be like doing the American Propaganda Network now.
No, I think I was kind of surprised by that. I'd like to see her as a politician, but I mean, yeah, she'll still be
a
this person.
They kept her out of office twice now. She's like, I can't do this in Arizona. Maybe she needs to pull a Hillary and go to New York or Arkansas and just take up residence in a normal place, and she would win 80-20. Anyway, Pierre Poilievre wrapping this up. It's so epic. Just ask questions. These people crumble under the most basic.
Canadians trust you with their vote.
Common sense. Okay. Common sense for a change.
Trump has said
we're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. You know,
fact.
The guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again? You want to be able to afford rent? Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck.
Pierre Poilievre, I believe is how we say that, at least according to him. Pierre Poilievre.
I go with my French. Poilievre. I don't know. Whatever. I'll have to hear it.
Did you want to play that clip and we'll wrap this up? That you had that video. What's it called? Life of Brian. I really do.
No, that's
judging your life, or what did you say?
Yeah, defending your life. Life of Brian with Monty Python. Defending your life is with Albert Brooks. Let me grab. I guess it's on Amazon now.
Oh, I could watch it. I gotta buy it?
You gotta rent it. It's $3.89.
Oh, I already pay for Amazon. It's like $200 a year.
Oh yeah, you think they'd have some of that stuff free? Maybe you get a discount.
30, 40-year-old movies that nobody watches. Like
I know it's from 1991. It's 34 years old. Yeah, it's got exceptional reviews.
91. That's only 9 years ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I can play this or not. Or we have to talk over it.
Keep it small on the screen so they don't see it.
Okay.
Here, let's.
We're promoting it. Go rent it on Amazon.
That's what I said, Blake, and that's what I say to YouTube when they Warner Brothers music group Geffen said that I said, look, motherfuckers. I said it's called fair use. We are allowed to play something so that we can add original and unique commentary on top of it. Also, in addition, we're promoting your fucking product so other people could spend their fucking money to check out your fucking product. The point of you blasting us and taking down our videos is so that you don't have your money stolen. I'm trying to create money for you, you assholes. Like, these are some of the things, Blake, I probably have literally written some of these word for word, sentence by sentence.
Yeah.
I might have even been cussing at these people because I sometimes get a list of 14 videos that they flag one day. They just go, oh, we're going to hate the new American media today. I'm like, you hate me every day, but fine. And I go into each one. No, this is fair use. And we provide original, unique, original commentary. And we worked it into our show and we talked about it before. We played the thing. We talked about it after. We have the ability to do that. Anyway, let's hear a little bit of this, and we'll stop it every 10-15 seconds so that we can talk about it.
Okay, here we go. 1991, defending your life.
With a click, with a shock,
oh, okay. They got music.
Whatever song they're playing, I have no idea.
Oh, he couldn't die. Okay.
From the beginning.
Al Brooks or Mel Brooks? Al Brooks. Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks. So is it Mel Brooks' brother? I do believe.
Is it? Mel Brooks did all the voices on Warner or Looney Tunes. What was that?
No, that's Mel Blanc.
Oh shit.
Mel Brooks did a ton of comedy.
Oh, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles, yeah.
Oh my God, can we do a Blazing Saddles too?
So many other things, but yeah, Albert Brooks is his brother, who is also an actor and comedian.
My dad liked the what was it called? The Ringer, The Natural. It's about a baseball play, the Scout.
Yeah, The Natural.
I think it was called The Scout. Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah. So he was the Scout.
And that was him.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
He was the agent or the manager.
Agent, yeah. No, he was the scout who discovered.
He was the scout. Okay,
and then kind of took him in as kind of a father figure of whatever. But yeah, that's him too.
So he's busy and he's driving and he goes in the other lane and he's done. So now
he's running around as LA or whatever it is, and he gets hit by the bus, and then he wakes up in the afterlife. And
Beginning of motion picture history, Hollywood has tried to show you what the after.
I only worry about the music here, but
I know it's gonna get so flagged. It's
maybe.
okay.
Just little tiny clips. Well, we'll see.
Life is really like.
Good afternoon and welcome to Judgment City.
Have any idea what's going on?
Oh, and there's
I know. Hold on, Blake. Is he dead at this point? And
yes.
In his experience, this is all he's being pushed in a wheelchair, but he's actually dead.
Yeah, like he just died. He thinks he's probably in the hospital, but he's actually like this is the afterlife.
He's
and now
already
we're gonna review his life, and he's got Rip Torn there, who's gonna be his lawyer, trying to lobby the people so that can he get into heaven based on his actions on Earth, and they got to take a look at everything.
Well, in a nutshell, you're here to defend your life, and I'm going to help you. Defend my life?
Here's a question of the day.
Yeah.
Can you think of a more redundant first and last name than Rip Torn? Who else is in the redundant first and last name? Rip Torn. It's like you're saying the same thing twice. Is there another name? Question of the day for anybody
His
out
name or is his real name? I don't even know.
I don't know, but like, is there anybody else that we can think of that has like a first and last name that are like this? They're similes. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Finally, wow, the first true story of what happens after you die.
Where am I? Is this heaven? No, it isn't heaven. Is it hell? Actually, there is no hell. Although I hear Los Angeles is getting pretty close.
Right closet.
Yeah.
Was Los Angeles getting close to hell when you evacuated?
In 2020, yes, it was really got weird with the George Floyd riots.
Yeah.
Lockdown. Shit got real weird. And yeah, it was strange. That was also the only time, Brian, it's one thing, all the years that you were in LA and so many other people, I didn't even live there that long, but I got to experience LA without traffic. That was only
like an apocalyptic movie. That's like in every apocalyptic movie where nobody's driving because they're all just like, they're zapped.
Yeah.
But like the traffic is terrible. But you didn't have that experience. You had the opposite.
Well, just after the lockdown, just when all of a sudden I was like, wow, this is like a futuristic dystopia. This is crazy. Yeah, but I don't know how to. I guess that was a great time to be there in a way. But
we live in interesting times, right?
Yeah.
All right. So he said LA is kind of like hell.
Yes, he says, yeah, there is no hell, but yes.
I heard Los Angeles getting pretty close.
But this was back in 1991 when LA was still like rocking.
Could you imagine being in LA in the 50s or 60s like the Beach Boys? No traffic, no bums, no crime.
Yep. That would
the
have been
rent not through the roof.
Hollywood, yeah. For sure. Hollywood during like 60s, 70s. Have your house paid off by the 80s. You'd be living a dream now. Just living in Pasadena there's just, there's so many great places.
Hell, even Baldwin Hills up on the hill overlooking the rest of the city. Like, I'd even take a home in Baldwin Hills with a pool in the backyard and a cascading this and that. Oh my God.
For sure. All right, we'll keep.
All right, so Mel Brooks, Al Brooks.
Damn music again.
Ending your life.
anyone ever tell?
Oops, crap. No, I just went to the
What did
next
you
video.
do?
That was
With a
when
click.
he,
Leave me alone, I'm dead. That's life.
Albert Brooks.
Leave me alone. I'm
make me think of my.
oh yeah, now we get some. Yeah, it's gonna be copywritten.
So they're on a
darn music, but anyway, yeah, he's on the bus. He's
full of dead people. Oh, there she is. That's that lady. What's her name?
Meryl Streep. Yeah.
Susan Sarandon or something?
No, Meryl Streep.
They're the same person to me.
Yeah.
Who's that
Yeah.
person?
Anyway, Rip Torn is the lawyer to try to get him into heaven.
Oh, so
You gotta look at his life.
does he have to hire the lawyer?
No.
A
No,
lawyer
wait.
will be appointed for you.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
But I mean, they have your best interest. Yeah, they're basically like public defenders. I guess you could call it that.
Okay.
Because they're free, but they have your interest. Like, oh, okay, Brian, you're dead. You got hit by a bus, and now, did you do enough on your life to get into heaven, or do you have to go back and try to get it better next time? That's basically the gist of the movie. But it's funny. It's thoughtful. It might not be accurate, but it gives people an interesting perspective on.
I like it. I would love to check this out. Make sure you shoot me the link and those other two. You got to give me something to.
We got to give you that promo for the all your stuff. And what else? I got to listen to
Why Trump Wins video because I got to click it. I didn't.
What Trump wins?
When Trump wins in Milwaukee, we interviewed that guy.
Oh wait. Okay.
That's what when Trump wins or why Trump wins. I mean, yeah.
Okay. I think
You probably sent it to me once, but it expired 2 weeks after, and I just.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right. I'll refresh my memory after off air.
It was Milwaukee. It was after that we went to that. Remember we went and we were watching Hulk Hogan and Dana White. We were in that Italian joint.
Yes.
On TV, we walked out, and that guy was out there with the cassette tapes. Why?
Yeah, the last interview. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, so we did that interview. If you can send me that one again, because that was on your camera. I didn't have a copy of that.
Right.
I posted.
Okay.
Never.
No problem.
Thank you. Awesome. But yeah, this was fun, man. TNAM Night Show, just kind of laid back, and I could do like I put the same amount of energy into scrolling the universe to give 20 Instagram stories every day. All I gotta do is just click on we'll talk about all the major stories, and we can add a couple here and there and connect the dots. And something broke since then, that's fine. But if you're following us, you're getting a lot of good info from the Instagram feed, from the X feed, from the Facebook group, the Agree to Disagree show. We put different shit in every location. So if you're not following the New American Media, the Agree to Disagree show, all the things, please do so. Yeah, this was super easy. There was no show prep involved, right? It was the easiest shit ever. And it's all the stuff you were looking at today. Was there anything we left off on the cutting room floor?
No, that's fine. I like this format. It's more casual because otherwise I feel like a lot more sense of urgency in the day show where I want to really get through the stories in a certain time and a certain structure. But at night, it's just hey, we're just hanging out and we're talking about the stories. So
hanging out, having a good time. Your team is in the playoffs, your Vikings. Any thoughts on the college football playoffs? Do you have a hunch with Ohio State or Penn State? Who do you think's going to make it?
I think, Ohio State kind of showed up. I mean, they looked like they were in trouble after Michigan, and then everyone thought Ryan Day was going to get fired and that they had to win the championship in order to keep his job. And I kind of not that I follow it that closely, but I was like, oh, okay, well, this might be the end of this little, era, or maybe the end of the Ryan Day era, and they're going to get beat by Tennessee, and then they're going to get beat by, who did they play last time? Oregon, yeah. So they've won those, and now they look like the heavy favorites. So now I'd be surprised if they lost anymore, not to jinx you. But no, they've come out strong, where they look like they're the team to beat of that field. And they've already beat Penn State before. And, Notre Dame's really good. Texas is really good. But, Oregon was really good. You guys beat them soundly. So I'd say.
Yeah, both of those wins from Ohio State, they were up by 25, 30 points by the end of the first half. It was just pretty much by the end of the first quarter. They just, like these teams, they don't even know what hit them. And you go, how did this team lose to Michigan? How in the world did they lose to that team up north? And it's because they called a totally different game. That Jeremiah Smith, man, he's unstoppable at wide receiver, and he's a true freshman. He's like a 17, 18-year-old kid, and he's like Randy Moss right now. But yeah, Blake, any thoughts on this? It's so interesting. Every team that had a bye week has been eliminated. Arizona State, Oregon, Boise State.
They might have switched it up next year.
Every bye week team that won your conference got kicked out first game they played.
Yeah, I think that's probably they're going to have to tweak around the playoffs. I mean, we didn't know, but now when you see 4 teams, it's almost like they were off for so long, and then the other teams were just fresher. Like they were ready for it. Whereas, I don't know, it almost gave them an advantage that we didn't see, or it could be a coincidence. So I don't know.
No, that's a fair point. I'll take it. But yeah, looking at that, it's like 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's like those are the teams that made it 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's like I'm gonna pick Ohio State to come out. I mean, it's kind of a coin flip. Maybe it's gonna be an all Big Ten championship. Ohio State in a rematch against Penn State. Maybe. What would you pick?
Well, let me just also say, I don't know if Boise State. I don't know if they've needed to be, as far as those rankings are that high, but I mean, I guess that's just the way it is. So some of those teams weren't as strong. Georgia lost their starting quarterback. Yeah, I guess Oregon probably could have beaten anybody outside of Ohio State. But yeah, it's weird having a layup. And I'm sorry, I forgot your question again.
No, just who do you think will win in semifinals? Who do you think will be in the finals? Who wins against Ohio State, Texas?
Well, I think Ohio State's got the advantage, and I think they're 6.5. They're almost like a touchdown favorite. So I think Ohio State is the favorite going in. It's theirs to win or lose. They control it if they want it. Almost a coin flip between Penn State and Notre Dame, and I would think Ohio State would still be 6 or 7 point favorite against either of them. So that's kind of where it is. That's whether they can close it out.
And Blake, close this out. Kind of tell me what you think about the NFL playoffs, because this will be our final thing. But like, look at these matchups here. Anything surprise you? Who do you think's going to win?
This is going to be good. I think there's 6 capable teams, and any one of them can win. Just looking at that field, I think the Chargers, the Texans they got weaker as the season went on. Same with Pittsburgh limping into the playoffs. So I think those aren't going to last. Broncos had a good run, but I don't think they're going to get past Buffalo. And I really think, between Buffalo, Kansas City, and Baltimore, any one of those 3 teams could win. None of that would surprise me. I'll say the same thing in the NFC. I think, either Minnesota, Detroit, or Philadelphia, any of them could win. The Rams have had a great season. Washington, Tampa, Green Bay, all of those teams are actually pretty good, unlike the AFC, where I think, Texas and Pittsburgh actually look kind of weak, like they're ready to get picked up in the first round. I can see any of this going anyway, but yeah, I think I would be shocked if it was not Philly, Detroit, or Minnesota.
I'll tell you what, one of the most fun teams to watch is Tampa Bay. Now, obviously, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, and us getting rid of Baker Mayfield just crushed me as a fan. It was such a dumb move, and we got Deshaun Watson, and I'm not going to re-legislate it, but he had a setback in his Achilles rehab, so he might miss all of next year now. It just keeps getting better for us in Cleveland. But did you see the Tampa Bay game by chance?
Yes, I saw parts of it. I watched it on Red Zone, so I did see a lot. There was a lot of good clips from it.
Oh man, it was because they were down by 10. I guess that's the first game Baker's come back from a 10-point deficit to get a win. But did you see the very end where Mike Evans was 6 yards away from getting 1,000. And all the Bucs had to do was take a knee, but instead they threw it, and he got a 9-yard play. Everybody went bonkers. I mean, God, are they a fun team to watch, man? I am officially rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want Baker Mayfield to win a championship so bad. Tell everybody that said, oh, he's trash, he won't even be a backup in this league, the Browns were right to get rid of him. I am so rooting for him. Obviously, you're a Viking fan, but do you have any other favorites? Are you pulling for the Lions, maybe the Bills, teams that have been close but have never won a Super Bowl? Any other favorite teams you're pulling for?
Biased this year, Brian. I can't. I can't. Even though I could say yes, I think it'd be great if the Bills or the Lions or somebody else could get a chance, but I can't. No, Minnesota's never won a Super Bowl either, so I want that shit. And then everybody else can win, then I don't care. I'll always go for that underdog or something like that. But until Minnesota gets that first championship,
I'll root for your Vikings over the Rams. I'm gonna make my picks. I'm gonna pick the Rams to lose to the Vikings. So the Vikings are gonna win. I guess that's in Los Angeles, though. That's not good. That's the repercussion of losing it to the Lions. That's
but they're still playing in a dome. I mean,
and
is LA that big of an advantage? I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
But I think your dome can be pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
A horn, woo, and like the skull, and you guys are doing the whole that's an intimidating environment. Even if you're like aware of it, and you're a professional and you block it out, you can't block it out. But I'm gonna pick the Vikings to beat the Rams. I'm gonna pick Baker and the boys to take down Washington. Ooh, Christian Watson was injured at wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I don't even know why they played him. That's too bad.
I know. That's the word. Well, in Saquon Barkley, they decided to sit him. He could have became the NFL.
Yeah, it's like an asterisk record, man, because it's like they got an extra regular season game. I think just
you might as well get the record and leave the asterisk as opposed to not getting the record or the asterisk. I would take it. Hey man, the Broncos are pretty good. They're actually kind of a decent team. I like Bo Nix, but I think it's the Bills' time. I'm gonna pick the Bills. Yeah, these two teams, I can't believe they're playing each other. AFC North versus AFC North, and they both suck. I'm gonna pick the Ravens. They're actually kind of good. And yeah, maybe Chargers over Texans. CJ Stroud has not been great this year. He just has.
Diggs is out. What was the other? Nico Collins or no? Tank Dell.
Tank Dell is injured. Oh yeah, he had a bad injury. Ugh. He was on my fantasy team.
Right.
Brutality. All right. Well, cool. Yeah. I mean, when are those games? Those are Sunday or they're Saturday, Friday, Thursday?
There's 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. I don't know exactly.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then the college football is Thursday, Friday.
Right.
Oh, this is the best time of the year. Best time of the year, Blake. All right.
It is. That's all I've been doing. Like for the last couple of weeks, I've been watching football, and yeah, it's been great. Kind of just unwind from a long year, but yeah, it's good. But it's over. It's almost over. But then I'll be refreshed and ready to get back to business. So.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Let's wrap it up for now. Tell people where to find you. Are you going to be doing Toxically Masculine Tuesday tomorrow?
Should be back on air tomorrow after a 2-week hiatus. We've been on Tuesday, which is the same time that Christmas and New Year's were on, so we had to postpone it a couple weeks. But yeah, it should be back to normal tomorrow. So 8:00 Eastern time. No, 9:00 Eastern time.
That's right, Central Time. Okay, Blake is on X at TV's Blake Wally and thenextlevelnews.com. I think, we covered some of the stories. We could do a quick hitter tomorrow, regular time, just kind of tighten it up. The Agree to Disagree show, perhaps. Pencil that in, see how that goes tomorrow.
Okay.
3:00 Eastern time, as usual. Maybe try to get some of the regulars in the group. By the way, somebody from Kick left a really weird comment. So I deleted it. I don't know if you caught that before.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, we do get some of those kind of promos from either Rumble or Kick, it seems like.
Not that one.
Which is good. We need to expand the business somehow. I don't know how much I trust all of these things, but there's certainly people that know how to repurpose video and have AI.
This was a different one though. This was a weird racist rant, calling us white boys and stuff. So I just blocked.
Oh, that one was that's probably just
yeah. I just blocked.
There's no reason to put that one in there. Yeah.
Well, because sometimes we engage people and then put their comments on, but like that's what they want. So like we can't.
Well, this is the late night crowd now. This is kind of comes with the territory. There's going to be the weirdos and stuff, but that's fine. So
you can't out weirdo us, Blake and Brian. We are the weirdest of them all. Okay, Blake, thank you so much. You have a great evening, sir. This was awesome.
Good times.
I enjoyed that. Like it was really laid back, and I think just going through the Instagram structure gave us enough of a basic roadmap that we could at least color within the lines. Like we kind of sort of knew where we're going, but then we could kind of paint with different colors. I thought it worked really well. It was pretty easy.
Yeah, for a spontaneous show, it was nice. So thank you for everybody listening. Good job, Brian, and see you guys next time. All right, cool.
All right, Blake, to be continued. See you tomorrow at 3:00. Blake Wally, everybody. There he goes. Follow him in all the places. Yes, and we are the New American Media. Follow us in all the places. The New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show. So I'm going to post this on Spotify, even though it's not technically an Agree to Disagree show. I'll put it up there now because we're starting to get some traction on our Spotify podcast. So sign up with us there. Okay. I'm going to take off. Appreciate you. Love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.